José Mourinho is not begging Real Madrid for a job, he is joining on his own terms. Reports say his camp has placed 5 non-negotiable points in front of Florentino Pérez, and you have to see this. Number 5, 2 years of contract. The first condition is the easiest to understand because Mourinho is not asking Real Madrid for a lifetime project, a blank cheque, or some emotional tribute tour through his old office. He is asking for 2 years, just enough time to walk back into a complicated dressing room, set rules, and prove whether the second act has any real football behind it. His strongest team came in the second season when Real Madrid won La Liga with 100 points and 121 goals, a team built on speed, aggression, clarity, and the feeling that every player knew exactly what the coach wanted before the ball even arrived. That is why this demand feels less like arrogance and more like self-protection. Mourinho knows what happens if he returns without time. Every draw becomes a referendum. Every press conference turns into a trial about whether he still belongs at this level. So, 2 years is the softest demand on the list, but it still tells us something important. Mourinho is not coming back to keep the seat warm. He is coming back only if Madrid admits this would be a real project, not a panic button dressed up as nostalgia. Number 4, media duties. Mourinho's fourth condition sounds small at first, but it might be one of the clearest signs that he remembers exactly what hurt him the first time. Reports say he does not want to return as Real Madrid's unofficial spokesman. He would speak at the mandatory press conferences and talk about players, tactics, injuries and results, but for anything outside football, he wants the club to put someone else in front of the microphones. Mourinho's first Real Madrid spell did not feel like a normal coaching job. He was dragged into every storm around the club, from refereeing arguments to institutional fights, from tension with Barcelona to dressing room leaks, and after a while the manager became the shield. Florentino Pérez may understand that point better than anyone because Mourinho's first era brought energy, edge and fight, but it also brought constant noise. Every press conference became an event, every answer became a headline, every pause looked like a message. Mourinho knows that if he comes back and becomes the story every 3 days, the football project dies before it breathes. He wants Madrid to protect the coach from becoming the club's punching bag again. And maybe that is the most honest part of this whole negotiation. Mourinho will take the pressure of winning. He just does not want to carry every Real Madrid problem on his back again.
Football's more than a game. It's passion, pride, glory. This World Cup season, Goal90 brings you our biggest offer yet. Buy 3 jerseys and get 1 free. That's 4 jerseys for the price of 3. And yes, free worldwide shipping. This is a limited time World Cup special, only until the 10th of May. So move fast. Pick your jerseys. Wear your passion. Own the moment before they're gone. Visit Goal90 shop. Link in the description.
Number 3, his own staff, period. This is where Mourinho's demand stops sounding like a normal coaching request and starts touching one of Florentino Pérez's protected areas. Reports say Mourinho wants to arrive with his own people, and that part is normal. Every serious manager wants assistants who understand his sessions, his match preparation, his discipline, and the way he controls a dressing room. He would reportedly accept Álvaro Arbeloa to join him, and if Toni Kroos returns to the club structure, Mourinho would likely welcome him too. The real issue is Antonio Pintus. Pintus has become part of Madrid's performance identity, almost like a private weapon Florentino trusts. Inside Madrid, many people, including Florentino Pérez, appear to believe in the Método Pintus. To them, it is not just hard running, it is one of the hidden reasons Madrid so often look physically stronger when the Champions League reaches the knockout stage. Fans know the mythology around it too, the brutal conditioning work, the famous Modric clip celebrating the method, and the so-called Pintusian Valley, where Madrid can look heavy in winter before rising again in spring. Then there is Sanitas. They have been Real Madrid's official medical provider since 2002, and the partnership runs until at least 2027, so cutting ties would not be simple. But after Madrid suffered around 120 injuries across the last 2 seasons, even Florentino may see why Mourinho wants changes. Number 2, authority to overhaul the dressing room. Considering Madrid's current state, this is Mourinho's most obvious demand, and we know what it means. The earliest flashpoint this season was Vinicius in the Clásico. When Xabi Alonso substituted him, Vini reacted publicly, made his frustration clear, and walked toward the dressing room. That moment raised a brutal question. If taking off one superstar becomes a political event, how much control does the coach actually have? Then came the Valverde and Tchouaméni controversy. Madrid fined both players €500,000 after a training ground altercation that left Valverde with a head injury. It fed the image of a dressing room where control had become fragile, and this is exactly the kind of environment Mourinho would look at and say, enough. During his first Madrid stint, he was willing to drop Iker Casillas, even though Casillas was captain, a club legend, and almost untouchable. At Manchester United, he challenged Paul Pogba's status by stripping him of the vice-captaincy. The Vinicius issue makes it even more complicated. Mourinho has already been critical about him. After the Benfica controversy, Mourinho questioned Vini's celebration, and those comments were attacked by people who felt he had shifted attention from the alleged abuse back onto Vinicius' behaviour. Then came the Sidney Lopes-Cabral shirt incident. Cabral had asked for Vinicius' shirt, later pulled back because he feared it could create internal problems at Benfica, and Mourinho called the gesture not something to criticise but still avoidable. Cabral had not featured for Benfica since that episode. So now, here's the real question. Can Mourinho and Vinicius actually coexist at Madrid? Maybe they can, if Vinicius accepts that Mourinho's authority is not to be questioned. But that is a massive if, especially when Madrid already have the Mbappe-Vini dilemma to solve. And that is why Madrid may eventually face the harshest version of this question. Do they want Mourinho's control badly enough to risk confronting Vinicius, or do they want to protect Vinicius badly enough to avoid Mourinho altogether? Number 1. Total authority. This is the demand that makes everything else look small. Mourinho does not just want permission to coach sessions, pick tactics, and speak after matches. Reports say he wants full sporting authority, the power to choose who plays, who sits, who leaves, and who survives inside the project. And that is where Real Madrid becomes complicated, because Madrid is not built like an English club where the manager can control the whole football operation. At Madrid, power moves through Florentino Pérez, José Ángel Sánchez, recruitment planning, financial strategy, player contracts, agents, marketing value, and long-term political decisions. The coach is powerful, but he is rarely the only power. Mourinho knows this better than anyone. During his first spell, he won a major internal battle when Jorge Valdano left, and that gave him far more control than most Madrid managers ever get. But this Madrid is different. The squad is younger, more expensive, more brand heavy, and more tied to long-term planning. So if Mourinho asks for total authority now, he is not just asking to manage Real Madrid, he is asking Madrid to move parts of its power structure out of his way, and that is why this is the hardest demand. Florentino can give Mourinho a contract. He can give him a spokesperson. He can even discuss staff changes. But total authority means giving Mourinho the keys. So Mourinho's return is not just a coaching story, it is a power test for Real Madrid. If Florentino says yes, everything changes. If he hesitates, this comeback may die before it begins. Like, subscribe, and watch the next video.